The moment you decide to have your own business, you also decide to take on a bunch of new roles, whether you want to or not. Bookkeeper, accountant, administrative, manager, visionary, creative, social media expert, marketer, and copywriter. Yep, whether you realize it or not, want to or not, love it or not, if you want to be in business, you need to know how to write good copy. Your business literally cannot exist without it. And yet, so many coaches, practitioners, and small business owners never give their copywriting skills a second thought and then are stumped when their businesses are struggling to take off, not building an audience, and not creating a connection-based community. It all comes back to copy. In this Copywriting Crash Course podcast series, I cover the ins and outs of writing good copy for your small business, even if you're not a quote-unquote good writer. And today, in the last episode of this series, we're talking all about how to write a website that actually works for your business. So stay tuned. Hey there, I'm Shawn Mynar, and this is Unstuck Entrepreneur. I'm a former nutritionist who turned a struggling, stressful nutrition practice into a thriving, freedom-filled online business where I work from home in my sweatpants while reaching and helping thousands of people all at the same time. Now I'm obsessed with showing other heart-centered coaches, practitioners, and solopreneurs how to build a business and life they love. Consider this podcast your safe space to learn both the inner work and practical strategies required to build the impactful, profitable business of your dreams. No hustle, grind, or long hours required. That's right, hustle culture, not welcome here. Let's get into today's session. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Unstuck Entrepreneur podcast. I'm Shawn, your host here on the show. Happy to have you. It is the final episode of the Copy Crash Course series. So for the past, now this will be the fourth episode. So the past three and this one were all dedicated to this one very big, very important concept topic that we all need to talk about as small business owners, and something that I feel like not enough people are talking about. Not enough people are really taking the time and energy to learn and do correctly in their business. So I said, hey, let's take a few episodes and just get it all out on the table and get your wheels, hopefully, spinning and turning about ways that you can start incorporating this work, what we've been learning and kind of calling out things you're not doing, things you need to be doing as you're writing your copy for your business, to just start learning more and engaging more and thinking more about it and growing in that aspect of your business. So that was the goal. We're going to round it out today, talking all about websites, because they are one of the most important places to have really, really good, amazing standout copy for your business, and also one of the biggest places where I see room for growth and improvement in what I have seen in this wellness and coaching industry. So that is what we're going to end on. I'm going to give you some really good tips today. Before we do that, a few things to mention. First of all, it's official. The invitations for the Make Messaging Magic workshop, that live workshop I've been hinting at over the past few episodes, they've been sent. So if you received an email from me all about that workshop, it is coming up a week from today if you're listening to this remotely close to when it airs. So that would be Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. Happening live. It is a 2-hour workshop. Basically, everything that we've kind of gone over in the past 4 episodes, we are going to actually do together. We're going to actually get our hands dirty. This is a workshop. It's not a course. It's not a masterclass. It's not these things that you can just kind of half pay attention to. No, this is a workshop. We are going to work on your business for 2 hours, and then you have access to all of these resources to continue to implement that over the long haul into your business. So it also includes my Messaging Magic workbook, which is 50 questions, 50 prompts to guide you through the process of bringing to life your own message, like that, what we just talked about in the last episode 186, I think, the one before this, what we just talked about in there. It's really figuring out what you want to say, how you want to say it, what do you want to be known for, what needs to be said in order to reach the people that you want to help, and how can you say it in a way that is unique to you and really showcases what you do and what's important to you and why you're different than everyone else who's doing something similar to you. We are in a space right now, and it's not going to get any different anytime soon, probably only going to get worse, where you have to take the time to figure out how to stand out if you want to get clients. And your messaging is what is going to do that. So we are going to take the time to craft your own unique message that is distinct to you and your business together with the workbook and what we'll do in the workshop. That's part one. Part two is also understanding and bringing to life your brand voice, because that's part of this whole thing. You being uniquely you, whether that's serious or silly or funny or sensitive, whatever it is, it's figuring out what makes you, you, because that is what creates lasting connection. And again, something that in the industries that we're in today, we need to focus on and bring out in our work in order to reach the right people and to connect with the right people. So that's part two, is bringing to life your brand voice, figuring out what that is for you. And we'll do that in the workshop, but then you also get access to a workbook, the Brilliant Brand Voice Workbook, which will guide you through the process. I want to say it's like 20 questions that will guide you through that process. And before you know it, you have your brand voice and it's done. Third, we take all of that, those are all of the ingredients that you need, and we put it into your copywriting framework. So I'm going to be sharing with you in the workshop the copywriting frameworks that you need to consider in every single thing that you write for your business, and how to know what to plug in, how to use them, when to use them, how to make sure you're reaching your entire audience and not accidentally excluding people based on their decision-making style or where they're at in their journey. Those are all things that copywriters consider, and you can do that in your business too quite easily. You just have to know to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do that in the workshop, and I'll also be giving you 10 prompts for headlines and subheadings that you can use in your business that will immediately take your copy to the next level. And I'll be giving you those and showing you how to use them. And it's super easy and actually really fun to, once you have all of these ingredients, put it all together and see what a difference it makes in your business. So that is happening next week. Invites are already sent out. If you did not get an invite, head to shawnmynar.com/magic and save your seat. So it's Make Messaging Magic Workshop. So shawnmynar.com/magic, the one magical word that you can remember to use. Head there and save your seat. It is a small group. I'm only accepting a small group because when it gets too big, then it gets overwhelming for me. Maybe not for you, but for me. And I want this to be really interactive, really engaging, and for everyone who is there live to get their questions and to be able to share and get feedback and everything they need to feel complete. So if you do go to that website and it's closed, that means it's full. So I'm recording this too early in advance to know whether it's full or not by the time this airs. So if you do go to shawnmynar.com/magic and it's closed, then that's why, because we have reached capacity. So this workshop is for you, just so you know whether to even bother or not. This workshop is for you if you're a coach, practitioner, consultant, expert, or other service-based professional who has or wants their own business. So you do not have to already be in business. I so wish I knew this before I started my business. You can save yourself a ton of time and headache if you know this before you even open your doors. Big time. If you already have the message established, your brand voice established, you know your copywriting frameworks, you are good to go. This workshop is also for you if you'd love to get more paying clients without it all feeling so difficult and overwhelming to do so. If you understand that part of being in business means you have to put yourself out there and market yourself and your services, but you're not interested in slimy, douchey marketing tactics and would prefer an authentic, real way of attracting clients and coaching them to take the next step with you. If you're willing to spend a few hours of intentional time working on your business, not working in your business, big difference there, because you know that's what leads to long-term growth. If you're open to receiving guidance and support from an outside source, that's me, that cares about your business success. And if you'd love to hang out and collaborate with a small group of like-minded people, if that is you, this workshop is where you need to be next Wednesday, March 8th. All right, let's dive into this and start talking about your website. Now, this is going to be incredibly important whether you have a website already or not. If you know that someday in the future, you probably are going to need a website for your business, but you don't have one yet, you need to listen to this. And if you already have a website for your business, but maybe it's not doing what you feel like it should be doing for your business, then you need to listen to this. And just as an aside, what I don't think a lot of people realize, especially if you're a service-based business, like a coach or a practitioner, you don't realize how much of the heavy lifting your website can do for your business, because it's probably not doing that for you right now. And so you just assume that you have to do the heavy lifting yourself through social media or, your podcast or something like that. You feel like the heavy lifting is put onto you, when in reality, if your website is working for your business, then it is doing the heavy lifting for your business around the clock. And you all know, if you're listening to this and if you've listened to this show for a while, that I'm all about it not being so hard and it not being so complicated to run your business, and that your business should be working around the clock while you're doing other things, because that's the whole point of having a business, if you ask me, is to get some of that time back. Your website can do that, and it will do that if you actually put in the energy and the intentionality behind building a website that does that for you. And I just don't think that most of you have done that. And if you have, you probably aren't listening to this, and you probably don't need to listen to this episode, because your website is already doing a lot for your business. You are getting a ton of new visitors to your website each day. Like, they are finding you through Google, they're finding you through Pinterest or whatever it is. And those people are then rolling over into becoming warm leads. So they are cold people who do not know you, and then they are rolling over into becoming warm leads by getting onto your email list. So downloading your freebie, whatever you have to offer on your website, and getting interested in that, getting access to that, and then getting on your email list. So that is what your website at minimum should be doing for you, but also you can make sales directly through your website too, and should also be considering that as well when you're building out your website. So if that's not happening for you, then stick around. We need to talk. And full transparency here, I know I already spent a lot of time talking about the workshop, but I do want to make sure that you know I'm about to put out a brand new program, and it's called Web Copy in a Week, where I give you all the copywriting tools and support and training you need to write your website in a week, and we do it together as a group. It is showing you exactly what to say in each section of your website, why to say it, where to put it, with over 200 fill-in-the-blank prompts for every headline, every subheadline, every body copy section. You have multiple prompts to choose from, where you're essentially just taking your message and plugging it in. It's like a plug and play, fill in the blank type situation. Again, fun to do. And within a week, you will have your homepage written, your about page written, and your services page written. in a week together as a group. Now, the only reason I'm telling you this is because right now I'm looking for beta testers of this program, Web Copy in a Week. And I will only be putting that invitation out to those people who join the Make Messaging Magic workshop, because the work we do in that workshop is the necessary pre-work to website copy in a week. So I hope that makes sense. I just want to let you know, if you need web copy help and you want to get in on that beta group, which if you've been in part of my beta groups before, you know they're like beyond value. Like I just really make it a no-brainer investment for you to get like 17 times the value. And I love my beta group members so much that you are my pride and joy. I pour everything I have into my beta members. So if you want to be a part of that and get your website written, then just know to also get in on the Make Messaging Magic workshop, because it's part of it. It's part of that process. So just wanted to be totally transparent there and let you know that that invitation is only being offered to those people. So anyway, before we get any further, let me make my stance on websites clear, because I've said this before and I stand by this. You do not need a website to start your email list or even to start making money in your business. You can easily set up a landing page with your email management software and start collecting emails in exchange for your epic freebie before your website is up. And you can also start taking clients before your website is up, especially if you already have a very warm audience that doesn't need to learn more about you before wanting to work with you. So that's really where a website does come in. If you want to start taking clients, but you don't already have that warm audience, like those people basically waiting for you to say, hey, my doors are open to start taking clients. If you don't have that, then you probably need a website. And if you don't have an audience to connect with about your freebie on other platforms, like, a podcast or social media channels or your own personal network or community to get that email list started, then you probably, yes, need a website to start building your email list as well. So I just want to make it clear that I stand by the fact that you do not need a website to get the ball rolling, to start things moving in your business. But pretty quickly on, you will need a website for so many different reasons. And I know many new business owners really prefer to kick their business off with a website already in place, even though, I'm here telling you it's not necessary. You can get started without. It's understandable that you want to have that in place to kick off your business. And that's totally fine, as long as you're not using the lack of a website as an excuse to stay stuck and immobile and not making your business happen because your ego is wanting you to stay in your comfort zone. So it's taking this idea of a website and, building on some perfectionism with your website, some overwhelm with your website, wanting everything to be just so. And so it ends up taking you like 6 months to build a website and not start your business because of that. So those are 6 months lost to where you could have been building up your email list. You could have been taking clients and making money while also building your website on the side. And I can almost guarantee that if you did that, your website would take like a week, if you're doing web copy in a week, to get up and running instead of 6 months. And, you could put it behind you. So I just find that there's a lot of people who really falter on the website as this massive thing that needs to be up and running and needs to be perfect in their business before they can start their business. And that's not the case. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation. But yes, pretty quickly on in your business, you will need and want a website. Having a website is a big and important part of being in business, no matter what kind of business you have. We are all living in a very virtual world, becoming more and more so every single day. Google is our best friend, and finding answers with the second we realize we have a question is something we're used to doing. And so I think we can all agree we actually go to a lot of websites, or at least I do. Maybe I can't speak for you, but if I have a question or if I'm looking something up or if I want to know something, I Google it and then I'm taken to a website and I'm on someone's blog or their homepage and I get sucked in. So that happens at least once a day. So if you're like me and you tend to go more towards the Google website, let me get my answer route, then you can understand the importance of having a website. And then it also brings up the importance of being a searchable website, which we're going to talk about in a second. But these days, I keep saying that in all of these episodes, but it's so true. In today's world, it can't be just any old website. It can't be something you just throw together. It can't be something you do without learning more about how to do it effectively so that it can do the heavy lifting in your business. Your website is more than just your digital business card. I saw that somewhere the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, that is why people think they can just throw up a website and not think twice about it and not put the right things in the right places for the right people. So, and that I think that was in a nutrition Facebook group or something. So that made sense then that people are thinking that, and using your website as a digital business card is going to do zero things for your business, except maybe if you're having a conversation with someone who already knows you, who's already really warm to you, and they just want to go sign up for your services, then you can give them your website to do so. That would be it. But it's not doing anything else for your business. Your website is also not just your business billboard. This is what I haven't heard it, but this is what I'm thinking that people think when they are building out their homepage, especially. It's like, here's all these things that I'm doing. Pick which one you want to do and go for it. And so you have all your freebies, you have all your paid offers, you have your podcast, you have your blog, you have all these things. Like, here's this and this and this, go for it. And that's not what it is. It doesn't mean that those things don't belong on your homepage, because they do. But there's a flow to it. There's a reason behind what to put where, and you have to guide the right people to do the right thing based on where they're at. So there's a lot more psychology involved in your website and in your homepage, and this is when copywriting comes into play. Copywriting is all about psychology and using the right words at the right times for the right people based on their personal decision-making style, where they're at on their journey, and taking all of that and putting it in the right spot so you're not excluding anybody. Because anyone who feels excluded, guess what's going to happen, especially on your website? They're finding that X button, they're clicking out of it, and they're going to the next person on the list. And you don't want that. This is someone that you already know is a good fit for you because they landed on your website in the first place. And all they need is the right guidance, the right encouragement, the right coaching to get them to the right place in the next step in working with you. That is what your website does. So it's more than just a digital business card, and it's more than just a billboard. Your website, this is how I like to think about it. We're getting into this very big analogy. I hope you're ready for this. Your website is your home on the internet. And so let's say you have a friend who's bringing over some of their friends to your actual physical home. This is the analogy, to your actual home. So these are people that you've never met before aside from your friend. But your friend has said you have a lot in common with these people and really wants you to meet them. So they all come over to your home. What do you do when they show up? Do you stay sitting on the couch while they let themselves in, give them a quick hello, tell them to help themselves to the tap water, and ignore them the rest of the time? Or do you greet them at the door with a smile, welcome them out of the doorway and into the living room or kitchen where it's more comfortable? Do you offer to take their coats, offer them a beverage, and give them a choice of different beverage options based on what they're interested in? Do you engage in conversation with them, ask them questions, and get to know them? Maybe offer them some snacks, put out a snack plate, have a great time. Which one do you do? More than likely, I'm going to say 99.99999% of you will engage in a nice, welcoming environment for these people that you do not know and have not met, but you want to make a good experience for them coming into your home, right? The same rules apply to your website. It is your home on the internet. And even more so, it's like your inviting, nice, warm, cozy office or a storefront that you want people to feel good coming into. You want them to feel welcome. You want them to feel like they're in the right place, like they've found someone who gets them and has something in common with them, where they feel seen, heard, and understood, and they have someone to connect with now. And then they are guided to take the next step on their journey. That is what your website should do. And unintentionally, this is completely unintentional, there are more websites who do the first option to their visitors than the second. There are more websites who are like the sitting on the couch, do that, go figure this out for yourself and don't engage in any conversation type of welcome unintentionally, because you're not greeting them where they're at. They don't feel warm and invited in. They don't know that this is the right spot for them. And when you have that feeling anywhere you go, whether it's to someone's home or on the internet, you leave. You want to leave as soon as possible. And it's really easy to do that on the internet because you can click out and go to the next one and never, ever think about that website or that person ever again. So it really matters what kind of experience you are creating for your visitors who, when they come to your website, a lot of them are cold, at least if you're doing it right and your website is doing the heavy lifting for your business. Then a lot of those people that are visiting your website are cold. They don't know you at all, but they have something in common. Something brought them to your website based on what they are currently looking for, what they're currently experiencing, what problems they're having, what solutions they're looking for. They landed on your website for a reason, and they need to know what that reason is and that you are a welcome, encouraging, safe space for them to explore it. Is that happening on your website? And again, this is unintentional, but it happens even if you really think like, oh, I have this beautiful design. I'm using these really inviting and pretty and beautiful colors. I have this awesome logo. And, we're not even talking about design in this episode at all. I guess we will for a little bit in just a sec, but not even talking about that. But when we think about the words that you are putting on your website, this feeling of not being welcome and not a warm, engaged, inviting community to be a part of happens with random website copy, which I really think of any copy where you haven't done the messaging work first for that website in particular is going to be random. And it's also going to be just not well thought out or well planned, not putting things where they need to be put based on the psychological aspects of someone coming onto your website. And that is all things that are done in copywriting frameworks. If it's cookie cutter, if it's ho-hum wording and copy, if it sounds like everyone else and doesn't have that brand voice, that personality, that interesting and engaging copywriting, then it alienates your visitors. They don't feel anything. And when they don't feel anything, they immediately click out and go find a website that they do feel something. And just like that, a dream client is gone. And it can happen really quickly. We have a very short period of time to make an impact on someone who visits our website. And that is why it's so important that it's thought of a little more intentionally than maybe what you have in the past. And that is what we're going to get into now. So let's go through some of these do's and don'ts for a website that works for your business. First things first, do keep SEO in mind on every page of your website and with every word of your copy. The very first thing that I have to address here is SEO, because I know a lot of you are thinking, no one even comes to my website, so why do I care? Why should I spend more time and energy on it when no one sees it? And that just means that your website hasn't been search engine optimized. That is what SEO stands for, search engine optimization. Your website isn't showing up when people, your dream clients, go to Google or any other search engine and type in something that is relevant to your work. And this is all about the words that you're using, all about your website copy, and intentionally, I'm using that word a lot, but I'm just going to continue using it, intentionally writing your website with your keywords in mind. So SEO, and I'm not going to get into a whole lesson on SEO. We'll do that in web copy in a week, but not here. But your SEO, your search engine optimization, is based on keywords. So you have to figure out what your keywords are for each page of your website and then use those in a very systematic way in order for Google or any other search engine to know what you're talking about on that page and to be able to connect the right person with that page when they go to a search engine with a question or, something they want to look up. If you already have a website and you wrote it without specific keywords in mind, without considering SEO first, then it's going to be worth it to go back and rewrite it based on your SEO keywords, really figuring that out first and then weaving those in, especially to the headlines and subheads on your homepage, on your about page, on your services page, and of course, blog posts and all that stuff goes without saying, podcast episodes, all of that. SEO is a big piece of what you're putting on that page. So make sure you're considering that. And if you haven't started your website yet, now you know, do that first. From the beginning, make sure you have that figured out on every page of your site. The next one, do make sure every page on your website has a goal and that you keep that goal in mind throughout the page. So your overall website's goal is to be an inviting, engaging place for your dream clients so that they can take the next step in their journey. So that's the overall goal, is just to keep your people engaged, keep people on the page, keep people reading and moving throughout your website, whether that's to the about page or to the services page or to your freebie or onto your blog and then reading 3 or 4 blog posts or over to your podcast page, and then downloading some podcast episodes to just keep people engaged and moving throughout your home. That's what we want. But each one of your website pages will also have its own unique goal that accomplishes that bigger goal. So within that bigger goal of keeping people moving and engaged and doing what they need to do to take the next step, every page also supports that. For example, your services page is going to have a goal of showing them what paid offers would be best for them. So not just what paid offers you have, what you feel like talking about on that services page, but what is best for that particular person, no matter who it is. And you can do that. They can self-select, which is great when you do it right. Whereas your about page has the goal of confirming they're in the right place and can trust you to be their guide. Notice I did not say your homepage's goal is to talk about yourself. That's not what it is about. It is about showing them they're in the right place and they now have a trusted guide to take the next step with. That's what we're working on in your about page. Your homepage has the goal of connecting each person, every person who visits your site, no matter where they're at on their journey, no matter what kind of personality they have, ushering them to the best place for them. Again, that could be a paid offer. It could be a freebie. It could be a podcast or a blog post. Every page has a goal. And if you don't know those goals, and you don't keep them in mind, as you write that page and really, again, keep that flow going, then you've lost them. Once again, you've lost that potential client. Someone who we already know, because they're already showed up on your site, is a good fit. So that's already been confirmed based on how they found you, based on how they got to your website. So we have to keep those goals in mind. Next, don't write your copy around your design. You have to design around your copy. So you have to write your website copy first and then put it into your template or whatever you're using to design your website. Or if you hire a designer, they will be so happy if you say, hey, here's my copy, just design around this copy. That would make every designer's day. It's not that good design isn't important, because it is. It enhances your words. It's part of the whole picture that people are working with on your website. So it is important. But what I'm seeing, and why I wanted to make sure to put this in this episode, what I see is people find a design or a template they want to work with, and they put that template on their website, and then they just start filling in the blanks of that template with their cookie cutter, barely even thought about copy, and then call that a website. And first of all, your designer, any designer, is not a copywriter. I mean, not any. I'm sure there are some that do both, which is super cool. But I feel like most people, it's kind of a one or the other thing. I could see it being very difficult to be really good at both. More than likely, the person that has designed that template is not a copywriter. So they are using just random words to fill in where there should be text in their design so they can see how the design looks and design around that. The thing is, when you have copy, good copy, a lot of times it's actually more words than looks good in that design. And so as soon as you start putting in your copy to a design that you've randomly found, it looks bad. It doesn't look very good. And that's actually so often what takes people more time and why they get so frustrated with trying to design their website, is because they've found the template before they wrote their copy and they don't match. And so then the template looks terrible once they put it together. If you can, write your copy first, and in Web Copy in a Week, I give you a wireframe, it's called. I give you kind of an outline of how it's going to look when you plug it in to your website, so you can find a template that looks like that wireframe, so you already know it's going to work. That is important. So write your copy first, then design second. Always, 100% of the time. It will save you so much time, and it will make sure that your copy stays exactly as it should, how you want it to sound and what you want it to say. Next up, do follow an intentional copywriting framework on every page of your website. One of the coolest things about copywriting is that it's not really about writing at all. It's about understanding where someone is at, meeting them there, and bringing them along with you to their next step, to what they want, why they're there in the first place. And in order to meet them where they're at, you have to know them. You have to know where they're at. And not everyone, specifically talking about your website, not every visitor is at the same spot. Not every visitor has the same decision-making style. Not every visitor is at the same spot on their journey, where some are ready to buy. Like they know you, they know your solution, they know what you want. They're just looking for the buy button. How do I get to the services page? Whereas someone coming off of Google doesn't know anything about you, and they're wary. Do I trust them? Do I not trust them? Does this person actually know what I want and need? Do I need to go find someone else? They're going to take longer. They're going to need a different resource. They're going to take a different action than that person that's ready to buy. And the tricky thing about websites is you have to account for every single one of those people, for all the people. And really, there's like 4 main decision-making styles that you need to account for. And there's 5 different types or stages of awareness that you need to account for on every page. And that is what copywriting frameworks do for you. They take into account all of those different decision-making styles, all of the different points where they could be at on their problem-solving journey, and incorporate all of that onto one page. And doing this, especially on your website, but really all your copy, but talking specifically about websites, it's so important because if you don't, then you have excluded somebody. And we all know what it feels like to be excluded. Not good. And when it comes to your website, they find the X button because they don't feel welcome. They don't feel like they're in the right place. And it's simply because where they're at and what they needed wasn't on your page. And with even just one tiny little sentence, you could have made them feel included and let them know they're welcome here. And that is why copywriting is so much more than words and writing words in a specific way. It's about that. It's creating that environment for everyone on your homepage so they feel like they're in the right place. And that's super important. I think we can all agree with that. So take the time to learn those frameworks that you can use specifically for your homepage, your about page, your services page, and apply them to your website so that no one is excluded and feels left out like they don't belong, because they do. If they already showed up on your website, they do. Next one, do be different. We've already talked about this on, I think, every episode of the Copy Crash Course series, but let me just remind you that there is a deep need for personality-packed copy and specificity and uniqueness, all of the good stuff that we've talked about. It also applies to your website, even more so potentially than anywhere else. Because just imagine that someone puts a question into the Google box and Google comes back with thousands of pages of results. There's like millions of results for that one topic, that one question that your dream client asked. And let's just say, because you've done the SEO research and really created your SEO friendly website, you show up on the first page of the Google results. So they click on yours. What's going to keep them from Xing out and going to the next one on your list that has the same answer to the same question? It's those standout words. And everything we've already talked about is going to help with that, making sure they're included, making sure that you've taken into account all the different styles and personality traits and things like that, so that everyone that goes onto your website feels included, knows the next step to take, feels welcome, all that stuff. But then also, it's because you're different. It's because you have standout words. You're using words, phrases, expressions, visions, goals, dreams, desires that are different than everyone on that list. Even if they're doing the same exact thing as you, you've taken the time to figure out what is different and unique about you and your work, and you've infused it into your writing, onto your website, of course. Last one, don't make it about you. Yes, it's your home on the internet, but it is not about you. Even your about page isn't really about you. It's about them with a sprinkle of you specifically on your about page. But the whole entirety of your website is about them. And again, something that has been an overarching theme on this series. So just wanted to remind you. And it's something, again, that's done totally unintentionally when you turn the camera onto yourself and start talking about your experiences, your stories, yourself, how you got where you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, where you went to school, all your certifications, all that stuff. And you lose them. because especially someone that is cold traffic to your website, they care about themselves. We all care about ourselves. And especially when we're coming looking for an answer to our problem and we've Googled and we've found this thing, just tell me the answer. Just show me the next step. Just guide me where I need to go. Make me feel seen, heard, and understood. Make me feel like I'm part of something, like someone finally gets me. And you can sprinkle in some of yourself there every once in a while, but keep it about me. That is what your visitors of your website are thinking. Whether we realize it or not, that's what we're all doing, and that's okay. That's totally okay. But we have to remember that as being of service to someone else. And that is what the whole goal of your website is. So keep it about them. All right, and I think we will wrap it up there. I know that if you've already spent a lot of time on your website, then you're like, oh, I don't want to do that again. Now I have all this other stuff she just told me I have to do, and I don't really think I did a very good job of that. I get it. I do think that it's worth your time and attention to redo your copy on your website if you didn't do some of the stuff that we just talked about. If your website isn't working for your business, if it's not doing any of the work, then we need to change that. And your copy will do that for you. So I know it feels like a lot. I know it feels overwhelming. It is worth it to spend that time to redo your website. And if you haven't done your website, well then, hey, you're the lucky one on this episode, because start with the stuff that we talked about and infuse that. Make sure you're doing it right the first time. And that's the great thing about websites is like once you've done it and you have that momentum, and especially once you do some SEO work on your website and Google now sees you as a trusted source of information and people like you and all that stuff that they include in their algorithm, then it is a very hands-off thing in your business that is working for you around the clock and should be doing that. So spend the time to do it now and do it right, and it will be working for you for years to come. And you really don't have to touch it for years to come unless, some things shift or change in your business or it stops working or whatever, and then you may need to make some tweaks. But it's largely one of those things that's done once the right way and then can be hands off. And like I said, yes, I'm looking for beta testers for web copy in a week, and anyone who attends the messaging workshop will be invited to be a beta tester for that, which will be happening in March. But even if you don't make it into the beta round, it will be open for everyone, probably in April. So only a few more months, and then it will literally take you a week, potentially even less than a week, to write your entire site and know that it's written correctly with everyone included using those copy frameworks. And you can just be hands off with it, and it'll be working for you behind the scenes. So that will be coming up in April. I'll let you know more as we get closer. But then also, if you're part of the messaging workshop, you will get an invite to join the beta round in March. All right, friends. Well, I so hope to see you live next week during the workshop, and I just can't wait to connect with you closer and deeper and get to see how this all makes some magic in your business. Again, ShawnMynar.com/magic to save your seat for the workshop if there are some still available. So go check that out. And until next time, take care. Hey friend, real quick before you go, don't forget to head over to my website and take the quiz to find out your solopreneur personality type. I've created a super fun, super informative 2-minute quiz that will show you which one of the 4 solopreneur personality types you fall into. Could it be the boss, the socialite, the visionary, or the supporter? Which one are you? Not only is it just fun to know more about yourself, especially as it relates to your business, but it's also really important information so you can be sure that you're building a business that works for you based on your energy, your personality, and your desires. Did you ever take those quizzes from the Cosmopolitan magazine back in the day? It's kind of like that, but with actual solid questions and real helpful tips and advice at the end. You can find the What's Your Solopreneur Personality Type quiz right on the homepage of my website at shawnmynar.com. Head there now to take the quiz, then let me know over on Instagram at unstuck entrepreneur what your type is. I'll see you over there.